What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. It's live. It's done by Barflies. It's for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. Morning, everybody. Badge with you. Bobby Bombs will be with us here in just a little bit, but I'm going to kick around the room and say what's up to the fellas before we get started. AC in the place to be. Aaron Current, the bearded Bears fan. Good morning, brother.
What's going on, fellas? It's a beautiful morning down here in Kentucky. We finally got a little bit of snow. Probably nothing close to what y'all got in Chicago, but snow is snow, and I'm ready to kick it with you guys and talk some ball. Even though we don't really have a game to talk about, we got, of course, there's always NFL is a year-round sport. There's always something going on to talk about.
Heck yeah, man. And then we've got Mr. Mike Schaefer in the cold and snowy Chicago. What's up, brother?
What up, fellas? Yeah, mostly snowy. It's not as cold as it's been, but yeah, we got 10 inches, 11 inches last night. So I got my morning workout in, shoveling wet, heavy stuff, the nasty stuff here. Snow's in motion, but so is the quarterback carousel. What could be maybe the most exciting quarterback movement off season in some time in the NFL. So really excited to talk about that among other Bears items that we have today. Always love joining you, fellas.
And last but not least, man's taking a practice test as we speak. The job never stops. My man, Ryan Kirkland Billings, KB. What is up, brother?
What's going on, fellas, man? You know what I'm saying? It's I wouldn't say a beautiful day. It's cold. It's snowy. I didn't get anything near the Chicago thing, but we got about 8 inches. So, got to wake up this morning and shovel at the station. It is what it is, man. But man, exciting news, man. Exciting news. It seems like it's going to be the start of a great offseason, man. It seems like we're going to have a lot of movement going on, and it's going to be a real exciting time, man. Love to talk to you boys about it.
Well, let's jump right into it, man. The news of the day yesterday, Matthew Stafford, formerly of the Detroit Lions, is now a Los Angeles Ram, a blockbuster trade agreed to before the Super Bowl. I can't remember the last time, if ever, you've seen something like that happen. Saw the news come across yesterday. The Rams get Matt Stafford, the Lions get Jared Goff, and then the Lions also get first-round picks for the foreseeable future, I think through 2024 or something along those lines.
The Rams just hate having first-round picks, bro. They just trade them away. They got 2 firsts and a third, and Jared Goff went to Detroit for Matt Stafford. And, we'll see how it plays out, but I posted. I hate to cut you off. I know you were leading us in here, Badge, but good, it's hard for me to hold my excitement. I hopped on Facebook almost right away and was talking about. We've all seen Jared Goff play in the snow and in the cold. It doesn't look good, and now he doesn't have Sean McVay telling him exactly what to look at, and what matchups to watch for. He doesn't have Cooper Kupp and Bobby Woods out here catching balls from him, and I don't think the Lions are going to be very happy with what they get in return on their investment, to be honest.
I think I texted it to you guys yesterday. Lions gonna lion.
Yeah.
Yes, they got a bunch of first-round picks, but after the new head coach Dan Campbell's press conference, just a few short days ago, now they trade, their franchise quarterback leader in probably every statistical category and bring in a guy who has been okay, but as AC said, it's been the people around him. And, you hear some of the things about Goff that people would say about Mitch. Can't read the whole field. The field has to, play action only works for him. He's got to be under center, this, that, and the other thing. Mike, you see this move, and now you see Goff here come to the Lions. Personally, I like it because I'm not a huge Goff fan. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's good for us here in the short term. The Lions are in rebuild mode, and I don't think this deal was done for them to get Goff. I think this deal was done. I feel like they fleeced the Rams to get multiple first-round picks for a quarterback that's never won a playoff game at the tail end of his career. I can't imagine giving up that draft capital to get Matt Stafford, but the Rams were pretty desperate to get Goff off their books. So I think it's a deal that works for both parties. And in the short term, we benefit from it. There's no question about it. The Bears will benefit. I'd rather play Goff twice a year and once in the cold, to your point, rather than facing Stafford even at this point of his career. But what I am concerned about is what they do with those draft picks. I think the Lions made it clear when saying, hey, Stafford's not going to be a part of the future, that they're going into rebuild mode. They've got a new coaching staff. Galladay may not return, so they're going to be building from the ground up. So it's less about Goff to me, and it's more about how they plan to build here in the next 5-6 years.
Yeah, you look at what's there for Goff right now. DeAndre Swift, the rookie running back. Well, now rookie season's over. They've got the tight end and Hawkinson, I think his name is. So there are some pieces there, but how many of the pieces that are there could be other casualties, being that the Lions seem to be in rebuild mode? KB, your thoughts on what to expect from this Lions team throughout the rest of this offseason?
Man, they moves, man. They got to make moves. You gotta look at it. They got to retain some of the talent that's been on the team. As you said, Kenny Galladay is supposed to be a free agent. Marvin Jones is supposed to be a free agent. Those are your two. That shit, one of your two right there, wide receiver. He's not really that much of a pencil mover, but you got Adrian Peterson. What are you going to do with him? Is he going to retire finally, or do you bring him back? What's the status on that? You got a hell of a tight end in Hawkinson. I love that pick. That pick was amazing when they got him. He's a hell of a tight end. But their O-line is no better than what the Rams were. Yeah. And you got to look at it. Goff isn't a mobile guy. So you look at a player who you can honestly compare to a Trubisky and say he's Trubisky, but he had better coaching.
Yeah.
That coach is gone now. Yep. And you might be coming into a Detroit's Lions system with Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay saying, you know what, man, I'm good. I don't want to be a part of this. And then you don't have a 1 or a 2 yet. So they got to make moves, man. That's a $47 million contract they just took on. You got to find a way to make it work. I
think Adam Rank tweeted out, wonder what Jared Goff thinks about biting kneecaps. And that made me laugh. Adam's always comes with the good content on Twitter. If you're not following him, make sure you get over there and give our guy Adam Rank a follow, because he's always got something to say, and it's usually witty.
Absolutely. So now you look at the Rams right now. To me, and I'm sure to many other people, this move, I think, makes the Rams Super Bowl contenders right off the bat. I mean, this, you heard it throughout the day yesterday. This is the type of quarterback Sean McVay was looking for. I think they thought they could win with Jared Goff. They did make it to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, but lost to the Patriots. So, AC, we'll come to you. What do you think this does for the Rams? I mean, they have a stout defense, and now they add Stafford plus the other pieces they have there. Are you feeling them as a Super Bowl contender next year?
I mean, I feel like they're right up there with the top tier of NFC teams. The only thing that I question is Stafford has this back issue. And as I said, when we were talking about him possibly being a Bear, I think last week's show we talked about that. I mean, he's one big hit away from them going to, I guess, Wolford. Do they still got Wolford out there? He's the guy who played in their last couple of games. And that's a big question. And you just traded 3 picks for a guy who may or may not be able to finish the season. Now, I do think that he puts you obviously that defense travels. Aaron Donald's probably the best D lineman in the league right now. And, it broke my heart when he was drafted one pick ahead of us. I always go back to that. Like when we drafted Mitch, that was my big thing. I was like, well, if this is his guy, I mean, remember we had our guy drafted one pick ahead of us that year. But that seems like so long ago now.
Yeah. And I don't think this makes the Rams that much better. Stafford's a better quarterback than Goff, absolutely. But he's still, like I said before, he's not won a playoff game. And he's
I feel like a lot of that has to be what's around him. He had some weapons, absolutely. He had Megatron, who's one of the best wide receivers in history. I mean, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. But they've never been able to build a defense. They even went out and when he did have a decent coach in Jim Caldwell, they fired him and brought in Patricia to try to fix the defense, and we all know how that worked out. I don't think Nagy's lost to him, or he's like 1-4 against him. So, I mean,
he's had some, he's had some, but you're right. It's a totally different situation in LA. I'm not afraid of the Rams next year. I don't put them up in the top tier of NFC teams. We get to play them, which is kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We go LA, I think, again. That'll be one that we'll circle on the calendar when the Bears go back to rematch with Stafford and with the Rams. But I don't know, just the lack of him leading his team to the playoffs, through playoff games, just doesn't make me that afraid of what LA can do.
Yeah, I see him. I just think it automatically puts him in contention. The only thing I question is, you saw how Aaron Donald being injured in the playoff game impacted their defense. I mean, if he goes down, I mean, they've still played well, but without him, I don't think they're doing too much defensively. But this is, I think everybody's seen it. Everybody said it. The Lions clearly won this trade. The last first round pick for the Rams was Jared Goff, and now he's no longer on the roster. So, and the Rams will not have a first round pick through 2023. So there's clearly going to be some tough situations for the Rams, but then to me, the Rams haven't had one in a long time, and they've brought pieces in they made it to a Super Bowl. So with Jared Goff. So now you bring in a guy and a vet like Matt Stafford, and holy cow, I think it totally changes the dynamic for the Rams. It totally does. Even though the Lions won the trade, I think the Rams will take a Super Bowl win over their first round picks.
Yeah. And they didn't even get anything this year, did they? Or is the third rounder this year? I know the first round picks is next year. And
this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think third round is this year, but the first round picks are for the two next drafts, not this one.
I know.
You gave up your franchise quarterback, and as Mike said, you're probably going to be missing out on your 1 and 2 receiver, and you didn't really bolster your picks this year. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
So I know Eldo's got some tweets here for us. First one here from Peter Schrager. The Rams have shown they don't worry about first-round picks and fret over like other teams. A lot of bad teams have had a lot of first-round picks. A lot of good teams have had first-round picks and are in salary cap hell. Rams go all in. The more this offseason unfolds, the more I'm less concerned with draft picks. I think I said it last week that I wasn't about to freaking sell the farm to get Deshaun Watson. And at this point,
you're going to have to.
I think there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. you're going to have to.
I'm sure Deshaun Watson just loved seeing that tweet when it popped out last night. I mean, he's like, "Oh yeah, y'all gave that up for him? He's 32. Okay,
yeah."
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Well, here we got Louis Riddick talking about what the Rams offense is from a philosophical standpoint, exactly what would have been installed for Stafford in Detroit never was. So we'll see the very best of him now. That's what McVay thinks. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, McVay got his guy. So I mean, maybe we will see a totally different Matt Stafford. Maybe we will see a guy that can lead his team to the playoffs and win a couple games. But for me, it's something that remains to be seen. To the draft pick thing, they were kind of getting into, and what's it going to take to get Watson? And I think that last point, that last tweet about teams, first round picks, they might be overrated. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Jets, the Cleveland Browns. Let's look at their first round draft pick selections. They've drafted in the top 10 pretty much every year for the last couple of decades. They don't have a whole ton to show for it. And then like this Rams thing for me was eye-opening. I didn't realize that they hadn't had a first round pick in so long. The Bears, like look at us. 2018, we go to the playoffs, have a really good season. We still haven't really picked in the first round because if you look at the picks we've made, they've left town as free agents. We haven't gotten anything back for them. And making matters worse is we've had to replace them with either high-paid free agents that don't live up to their paydays, or we trade up to get other players to fill those roster spots. So there's been a lot of damage done in the first round in Chicago. So maybe getting rid of those picks might be worthwhile. I personally don't know that we will have to give up that big of a haul. We might, and it could happen, but Deshaun Watson basically gets to pick where he goes right now. And to me, this becomes a marketing play. Teams right now, whether you're the Dolphins, you're the Jets, you're the Bears, or any other team, maybe San Francisco, that are competing for Watson's attention, the name of the game right now is make your situation look head and shoulders above all the others. Because if Watson goes to the Texans and says, hey, I am only willing to go to Chicago, we've got leverage. And we may not necessarily have to give up all those picks. Watson doesn't care. He doesn't care what the trade is. He just cares about going to the destination that he wants to go to. So, this is a domino situation. Yesterday's deal absolutely sort of sets the market, the trade market for all the other quarterbacks, including Watson, that could be traded to this offseason, sets the value, right? But I think the Watson situation is a little bit different. Bobby made a couple good points last night in our text thread too. Hopefully he's able to hop on and kind of add some color. But it may not be just who has the best offer. It may be where does Deshaun want to go? We know that there are some ties to Matt Nagy. We know that there's reason for Deshaun to want to come to Chicago. We'll see.
Well, Nagy actually interviewed him and worked him out and stuff. So he knew more about him than our general manager Ryan Pace did.
Well, that's because, as we all know, Pace didn't talk to him. So
yeah, that still pisses me off.
That tells you how comfortable I am with these guys making a decision this offseason.
There's a lot of I don't feel like I remember this many quarterbacks either on the market or about to be moving around as this offseason. You got questions with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, who, I mean, I guess he came back out and said, I'm not going anywhere, but he doesn't seem happy. And then you've got Stafford on the move, Goff on the move. You got Garoppolo possibly moving. Remember, before he went to San Francisco, there was a lot of Bears fans that were ready to sell the farm for old Jimmy G. I was not in that camp, but now he's probably going to go somewhere else. Of course, Deshaun's the big fish. And it's going to be an insane offseason, I think. And I feel like a kid right after Thanksgiving when you know Christmas is right around the corner and you know you've got all these gifts under the tree, but you don't know what it is. And even if it's not involving my team with the best move, I just like the NFL and I like seeing moves, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and Ron asked a really good question in the thread.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, why would Deshaun want to come here? Well, there's a lot of moving parts this offseason, and one of those moving parts is Allen Robinson. And if the Bears can tag or commit to Allen Robinson, that's a reason right there. His other trade destination, his short list right now is the Jets, the Dolphins, and then a few teams after that. Well, I think the Bears, if we have Robinson, you got Darnell Mooney, you've got a win now team. Like you've got a team where there are pieces, and you can really make the case for sustained success over the next 5 or 6 seasons. So if I'm Deshaun Watson, like I'm looking at what will I be surrounded by, and if that moving part of getting A-Rob re-signed gets done, the Bears go to the top of my list. I might be a little biased, but
right. What's the
it goes deep. It goes deeper than that too. I was gonna say real quick, it goes deeper than that. I don't know if anybody had caught what Max Kellerman had said, because it's one of the first times I would actually sit here and say that I understood and felt what he said. Going to Miami or going to a New York Jets, who isn't even the best team in New York. Let's just get that out there.
Well, they're from New Jersey, actually. But whatever.
New Jersey, whatever. But winning a championship in a Miami or in a New York isn't as big as it would be, or wouldn't mean as much as it would mean to the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago, it has a long, storied history of sports. We all know this. Even with that being said, football, it's a football town. It's a football city. No matter what Jordan having the 90s Bulls being the juggernaut that it was, people still talked about the Bears, even though we fucking sucked.
Yep.
If that man was to come to a Chicago, was to do the things that he was to do and win a Super Bowl, they would worship this man like Michael Jordan. You've got a team who has not been relevant since '85. And when we came close, it was with the likes of Rex Grossman. Jay Cutler was knocking on the door. Urlacher. And this is talking about defenses. The reason to come to Chicago is for the glory. You want to come here so you can put yourself on that pedestal, that pantheon of the greats. Deshaun Watson comes here and wins the Super Bowl, everything is forgiven. You are going to be worshipped. It's point blank, period. That's how it's looked at.
If we pull off this trade for Deshaun, is he the best Bears quarterback in history when he walks in the door?
Yes, absolutely.
He's immediately in contention for the Mount Rushmore of Chicago athletes. Yeah. We've got 3, I think. Walter Payton, Michael Jordan, Ernie Banks probably are the 3, and then the 4th is usually, there's arguments made. I think I'd immediately make an argument for Deshaun Watson to sit on that.
No Blackhawks players on that Mount Rushmore. I think you'll have some pushback on that.
I would make that argument personally, but I don't think the rest of my city behind me would. But yeah, he makes it. And you know what comes with all that worship? And you know what comes with all that? Endorsement dollars, too.
Yeah.
So if he's thinking the money, New York's a big market. Miami's a big market. You're going to have that there, too. But Chicago, neither of those two would be a match for Chicago, where he walks in from day one and he's the savior.
Plus, we have a defense to go with him. And they don't have that in the Jets or Miami's a pretty damn good team. I was
gonna say Miami has a case. Miami has a case with the defense.
They got a good squad, but are they not in on Tua after just one season? I mean, I know he didn't look great. Fitzmagic came out and looked good or better than Tua, but I mean, he was a rookie and he's learning, and he went to Alabama where they make everything so simple, and you're playing with the cream of the crop down there at Alabama. So, I mean, I like Mac Jones coming out. I don't think he was
fully healthy, AC, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's another. He had the hip thing, right?
Yeah, I still feel like, to me, watching him throw, it didn't look to me like he could put on the football what he used to put on it. Just watching, and what little bit I saw of him,
right.
That's how it seemed to me. And I got to see Tua as a high school senior. I want to say it was John Gruden that did like a quarterback camp for these committed freshmen. They were about to be freshman quarterbacks. He had already committed to Alabama. Dude, there were some phenomenal quarterbacks, and there with him, and he was leaps and bounds better than some of those guys then. He just didn't look to me, in what little I saw of him, comfortable throwing the football. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know enough about the Dolphins, to sit here and say, but to me, I just don't think he was fully healthy.
Yeah, and again, I mean, Tooch's comment about crippling ourselves, I get it. Like, I think you have to look at what that, like, how many first-round picks is it going to be, and do we overvalue those first-round picks? I think maybe we do. Like, the key would be, once Deshaun's contract, once we have to absorb the $32 million, I forget what it is when it sits at its peak, but the Bears will be forced to make some decisions where we'll be able to trade players and maybe get some picks back, right? So you have to think of, like, the ripple effect of this whole thing, and I would rather acquire mid-round picks than be too concerned about losing a few first-round.
Ryan Pace hits on those better anyway.
Yeah,
exactly. And hopefully he's not still here when that day comes. But you're right.
If he pulls off this trade, I don't know if he'll go anywhere. They'll be like, man, you brought Mack here, you brought Watson here, you rebuilt this defense from. Y'all remember what Mel Tucker had put on the fucking field?
Oh yeah. What I would feel would be this. I would much rather have the quarterback and start to build around that quarterback than to try to build around and still be looking for a quarterback, because that's what we've been doing since '85. It has not worked. If you can get the franchise player, go and get him. I can give a damn about the 3 first rounds that it would possibly take. Our first round picks have been busts. Leonard Floyd is no longer
Roquan,
here. Kevin Wright, the only pick that we've had that was good has been Roquan.
Yeah. And here's the deal, too.
You're telling me right now, for anybody in the chat, you're telling me right now that you would not trade the likes of a Gabe Karimi, Chris Williams, Kevin White, or Leonard Floyd to get Deshaun Watson. Please tell me.
Forgot Shea McClellan.
And Shea McClellan. Please tell me.
I agree, man. I think, like, if I'm George or if I'm Ted, I say, hey, Ryan, go ahead and make this deal. And that, to me, doesn't make Ryan Pace's job safe. What makes his job safe is now for the next 2-3 seasons where we don't have a first-round pick. And, again, we don't know how long Pace is signed or how long his extension goes to. But let's assume it goes another 2 years. The test is, okay, you gave up draft capital to fix your own mistake, right? A lot of these moves, signing Robert Quinn, was fixing his mistake of letting Floyd go or drafting Floyd, however you want to look at it. So here's the deal. If I'm the Bears, I say, let's make this move because the fans are going to be happy, right? So we're not going to have to worry about the whole PR side of things without having a quarterback. Here, you got your franchise quarterback, but you've got 2 years. For however long you're still the GM of the Chicago Bears, is you've got to figure out a way to make this work. And if you can't, now we're going to bring in another GM who now has Deshaun Watson and he's got all of his picks. And you know what? We might even trade some of these veteran players the next couple of years and make your job harder, Mr. Pace, to rebuild the franchise. So if I'm George or Ted, that's my mentality here is, all right, here you go. This is your last shot. But just getting Watson is not going to take us to the Super Bowl. It's what do you do with the pieces around him? How do you draft? How do you start making some moves and making some trades that maybe are hard to digest, like a Kyle Fuller or somebody that we've all agreed we don't want to see go, but hey, if we need to reacquire picks, that's the only way you could really do it. You build organizational depth through the draft. And if we don't have draft picks, because Ryan Pace has traded a lot of them away by trading up over the years, he hasn't done a good job of acquiring picks. Now the test is going to be the next couple of seasons. Can he do it? Can he surround Deshaun Watson with a winner in a couple of seasons? Deshaun's got a lot of tread left. It's not just going to be these next 2 or these 2 years win now. We will be able to build a winner after these next couple of years. So if I'm George and Ted, I'm saying here's the move. It's not about you acquired him. It's about what do you do with him once you get him.
And
you can see in the chat.
Real quick, let me just throw this out there. Not to mention this. You get Deshaun Watson, isn't that a piece that would attract players that want to come and play for you? If you put Deshaun Watson at the forefront, and I'm a wide receiver that's a decent player, hell, I would love to take X amount less to come to have Deshaun Watson throw me passes.
Yeah, and not even only on the offensive side of the ball. I think Aldo touched on this on a different show. The Texans can actually cut J.J. Watt with no penalty, no salary cap penalty, and we talked about it in our group chat that his wife plays soccer in Chicago.
Yeah.
So he's got not only his boy Watson, who he apologized to at the end of the season for wasting one of his years, which I love J.J. Watt for that, and for the rant that he went on at the end of the season about people not giving a damn, players not doing their job. And damn, I just went off on a rant there. So he's got his wife here in Chicago, and if we have Watson here too, thank you for putting me full screen. I appreciate that. Then those are two things that can pull Watt into town, and a defensive line with Akeem Hicks and Goldman back, and then Watt on the other side, to me is extremely enticing. Now we'd have to figure out what we're going to do salary cap wise, especially if we try to find a way to re-sign Allen Robinson and pay Deshaun Watson and try to pay Watt. We'd have to.
And as the chat's been saying, fix the O-line. Yeah, I mean, so I thought the way the O-line finished the season was much better, obviously, than what transpired through the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think fixing the O-line now, if you trade your next, your first round picks for this year and next year, how are you going to fix that O-line, with getting a top tier talent?
I might get destroyed for this, but I don't think our O-line's that bad. We need
I don't either.
Tackle.
Thank you.
You don't have to have the league's best O-line. Like, you can be an average O-line and win football games and protect your quarterback.
Yeah, look in the Super Bowl. Somebody put up that what the Chiefs' starting offensive line was. I think like their left tackle. Obviously, Eric Fisher was their starting left tackle. He tore his Achilles, so he's out. So they got a 7th round pick at left tackle, like a 7th round pick at guard, undrafted free agent at center. You know what I'm saying? That they were all like 7th round picks, 6th round picks, undrafted free agents. If you get that elite quarterback, especially one that's mobile like Deshaun Watson, your O-line can be middle of the pack and still get it done.
Yeah, and there's holes. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we need to find a right tackle, and we need to address this.
Mm-hmm.
I pick in the draft. There's no question about it. But you get James Daniels back next season healthy. We learned that Alex Bars is going to be a good depth guy in the interior line, perhaps can play the tackle position. Leno is so much better than he gets credit for as a middle of the road tackle. That's all you need to be. We finally found Cody's solid position at left guard. Like, you've got something that's kind of gelling there. I don't think this is like and again, like, I might get killed for this, but I don't think that's the worst position scenario on this team.
And I don't feel that you should, because like you said, if you look at it, the talent might already be on the team right now to field a viable offensive line. I've been saying this since we've got Bars. Bars is big enough. Just because his arms might not be long enough, he's big enough and solid enough to possibly play at right tackle. We didn't have a full offseason with these kids.
Yeah.
Give him a full
I know
offseason.
you talked about Whitehair being the left guard and solidifying that down, but he played every single position in college at Kansas State at a high level.
Left tackle at Kansas State.
If we need to try to kick him out to right tackle, that could possibly be the answer. Then you got Mustapher in the middle, Bars and Daniels on the inside.
Yeah,
you possibly have your offensive line combination already on the team. You just have to give the kids. You have to give these boys the time to gel.
Yeah,
you give them a proper offseason with this offensive line coach and whoever the hell is going to be the offensive coordinator. If it is Bill Lazor, it's Bill Lazor. Give them that time. We might have them already on the team because we didn't finish bad. And you look at it, 2 of those picks are undrafted. 2 of them.
Yep.
I'm just saying. Now, and a 7th round pick. I'm just saying.
Just to point out, and I know we're going to get into this a little bit later, but if you look at the free agents on our roster currently coming up, 3 of them are offensive linemen. Jermaine Ifedi, who I thought filled in admirably and selflessly moved back out to right tackle, and I thought he actually
did a
played
lot
okay.
better than I thought.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Jason Spriggs, who we got to see very briefly
he got hurt, though.
on the field, got hurt. And then Alex Bars is also a free agent.
But I think Bars is a restricted free agent, is he not? So I feel like we have, even though he's a free agent, we have like first dibs on him. And I don't think they're going to let him go anywhere the way he played this year.
And they shouldn't. But he's also going to be the cheaper option out of those three guys. So that's something to think about too. And this is going to be an issue for this organization, is making moves that fit in to the cap. I mean, I know everybody says to hell with the cap, fuck the cap, whatever. There are ways you can go around doing, making moves to stay where you need to stay. But at the same time, there's players you have on your roster now or that are free agents or even coming up as free agents that you can get on a decent contract that can still make an immediate impact.
We need to re-sign Mike Schaefer's boy, Cairo Santos, up there. I mean, that dude, the most accurate kicker we had since Robbie left town. So I don't know what they're waiting on with that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, they can't really sign anybody till after the new league year starts.
I guess so, yeah.
So that's probably why you haven't seen anything, and why you won't even see anything on Cairo or A-Rob until that happens. And I believe that's March 17th, I think, is when.
Is A-Rob mentally wanting to be a Chicago Bear? Because when they showed that press conference and he was like, I feel like they had 365 days to get something knocked out. To me, that sounds like somebody who's ready to leave. He's just ready to go somewhere else and take his talents to South Beach, as LeBron once said.
I think all right, fellas, we got some good news here. Our boy Bobby Bombs.
Bobby.
Yo, dude, I don't know this fucking thing. So if there's anybody in the chat that is smarter than me, which is probably 53 of you, I think, or 62 of you. So I try to dump everything on my computer, just like fucking set it up to damn factory mode, because this thing's been giving me problems. It might be giving problems right now, and I don't even know it. And I did that yesterday. And then today, when I tried to get on, this thing decided to be like Fort Knox and like tell me to fuck off like 9 times. And I have no clue what I did, but this seems to be working.
So guys, basically what Bobby's telling you is if you could just, send a little cash down his way, get him a new laptop.
No.
I see you guys.
I'm just kidding.
Not at all. I'm not out here begging, fucking panhandling. I'm just I need somebody that's got some computer intel. Dude, I don't know if this is working. How's it working? Is it all right?
It sounds choppy.
You're all right.
But
it sounds choppy.
I don't know if it's your headset or the computer. There's a little chop, but
I'm just gonna throw shit. I think that'll fix it.
Yeah, just punch it. That's the Marine way, right?
Yeah, I'll just beat it till it goes. No, but I've been watching, man, and I think like this whole Watson thing. I know everybody else on a different page, but I don't give a fuck. I sell everything, dude. I sell it all. I'm like first rounds, whatever. Everybody says you got to fix the O-line. Why? The O-line wasn't really that bad. But like maybe at the beginning of the season they were, but not towards the end, dude. And
once they figured out what worked,
yeah, and build off of that. And you know what? I know Tooch. I seen you asking like, why the hell is Pace still here when he traded up for a guy he didn't want, passed on Watson, fucking sold the future, whatever. He's still here because of the 4th and 6th rounders that he gets, and the 3rd, and everybody after that, man.
And those new photos he has of Virginia, that helps him out too.
Well, with his face down in the canyon.
See a tumbleweed going by.
So, hey, Bobby, I don't know if you can see the chat, but Brummy Bear just said if you got any Alexa devices on your Wi-Fi network, pull them out.
Oh, I do. Just fucking my pull-out game is weak, dude. I got 3 kids, but I'll try. I'll You know what? Hold on. Let me just text Carrie. She's downstairs.
I just gotta say, I see John Drapes here in the chat. Leno was absolutely trash. You have to be kidding me. The dude gives up more sacks and pressures than almost anyone, and he's soft as baby shit in the run game.
Look at it.
I thought Leno finished the end of the season as one of the better offensive tackles in the league. I mean, what did he have? He had a down year compared to last year? No, I thought he was much better.
I thought he did better than last year.
Than he was last year.
A lot of people they'll take a narrative that someone's trash, and then there's no coming back from that. There's no getting like Chris Conte. I know that's a name we can't say here. He was decent for a long time, but he got beat by Randall Cobb one time. He's trash. He's done. Get him out of town.
Man, perfect example of that. My dude and me got into a whole discussion yesterday about Kyle Fuller being apparently trash. And I said, how's Fuller trash? I said 2-time All-Pro. I meant to say 1. Well, look at this here. He's an All-Pro talent, man. I'm like, he's been the best DB we've had in the secondary for 3 years.
Leno, to me, he's not great, but he's not trash. He's middle of the road, which can get you by in the league.
It's the hardest position to be perfect in. And if you want to get rid of Leno, you'd be just getting rid of left tackles left and right because they're not all going to be Pro Bowlers. They're not all going to be top 5 players. Like you got to be able to live with a guy that's average. And I think Leno is average, maybe a little bit better than average. You don't see the good plays. Nobody talks about a good play when an offensive lineman holds his block. You hear about when they blow a block. I think if you get rid of Leno, you might as well just say, hey, every year we're going to get a new left tackle.
Yeah, those dudes go up against basically the best dudes in the league, the best edge rushers in the league all year long. Do I think that he was, that he missed some shit? Sure. But I won't say that he's the fucking worst one and he has to go. Yeah. Like the number one thing about Leno is that he's always on the field. This dude has had this dude has had like fucking 8 seasons, 7 seasons. He's never missed. Like he's never been injured, never like missed a game.
There's a stat right there for your ass. Well, 5 sacks.
But he allows too much. He allows too many sacks. And like, what was that dude's name that was talking about him? And I'm not trying to call you out, dude, but like, you actually need to just watch the game and listen to what people tell you, because the guy isn't that bad. He's not really not. He's not the worst thing on this fucking team.
Especially for a 7th round pick to be a left tackle. Come on now.
There's teams that would kill for a tackle.
Remember our former left tackle that was a 7th round pick? Webb. Would you like to go back to him?
Marcus Webb.
Couldn't even tie his own cleats.
How the fuck did Jamarcus Webb get it out of this show?
7th round pick left tackle.
Robbie, he's got to cut down on the penalties. He's got
absolutely. That's a big one.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you there. But to me, the trash narrative has to go because I mean, let's say he is replaced. I guarantee you within a few weeks, everybody's going to be.
Well, a guy that a lot of people wanted to replace him with, myself included, not this year, but the year before, was Laramie Tunsil. And I think Aldo had a video of Laramie Tunsil getting beat like a drum by our boy Leonard Floyd with the LA Rams over there, just getting demolished by him. So,
well, Floyd is just another. If I'm telling you what, if Leno leaves here, he's going to be a Pro Bowler next year, and everybody's going to be on the same train that they're on as fucking Leonard Floyd somewhere else. We couldn't do it right. It's going to just be in that same ballpark of everything. Now, Massey's probably gone. I mean, Massey's been injured after injury after injury, right? He's not reliable in the sense of, like the best, just being available. So yeah, they're probably going to back out of that one. I'm pretty certain they will. But I think Leno stays, man. I think stays, and I don't hate it. I don't hate that he stays. I'm okay with him staying.
I just had to check the number, but for the record, his penalties were down this season. 2 seasons ago, he led the league in penalties from in, and it was a big deal. It was the narrative. It was down. I think he had 7 penalties this last season. So even that right there, it's being improved. AC hit the nail on the head. It's a narrative out there. Everybody likes to talk about it. Leno's name comes up, and this guy sucks. That's all it is, man.
It totally is. I totally agree with you. And one of the other things I wanted to point out, Bobby had mentioned Leonard Floyd. And you look at what Leonard Floyd did this past season in LA. Now, was it because of Aaron Donald? Well, possibly. But he was supposed to do it here with Khalil Mack and didn't. So now Leonard Floyd at this point, remember, signed a 1-year deal with the Rams last year. This season he comes out, he has double-digit sacks. Played a phenomenal playoff, had phenomenal games in the playoffs. Now, is he a guy you would bring back here based on his performance last season? Now, we got nothing from Robert Quinn at all. We're stuck with Robert Quinn.
Well, Bobby talked about trading him as part of the Deshaun Watson trade.
Yeah, I'd throw Robert Quinn in, but we owe him too much money, dude. I don't think it's going to happen because the amount that we have on Quinn right now, because we went in there like a fucking little white kid at a strip club and just threw fucking money everywhere, and then Quinn just didn't produce.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought of that as something to see, because obviously we don't know.
I don't know if Floyd would want to come back. I mean, he got to play in the freezing cold of Chicago for 4 years and then go play in LA for a year, and he's probably like,
yeah,
damn, this is nice.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance in hell that you bring him back, Floyd. I mean, the dude just produced double-digit sacks, right, for his first time in his career. Yeah, and for the first time in his career, and then basically outside of this defense, outside of this team, he's been the best he's ever been. So let me hire you to do the same job you're doing now, and then you come over here and you produce, and you're a fucking badass. Why the hell would you want to go back to the other team? You would just like constantly look at the other team like this. Okay, fuck you. Remember when I was there? And I think that's kind of like the same thing that I know AC had mentioned it before I hopped on, but kind of the same Allen Robinson's going to do, dude. And like Allen Robinson's another one. I think the dude's a badass. I think he's the one. I get it. Yeah, the stat is that he had like the least amount of drops. That's because his drops ended up being picks, so turned into drops. Like the drops that he had got intercepted, so they don't count him as drops, right? And I think he's one of the top guys that you should have brought back. And I know he said you've had 365 days. Money talks, man. The money will bring him back. If they bring in Watson, I think that changes things up a little bit. But I don't like is the cryptic fucking tweets and texts and all this shit about like, if you know, you know. I told y'all that, like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just be fucking, just be real. Just fucking say it. You already said they had 365 days and they didn't do things, so I doubt anything is going to get done. Just be real out and say, like, you know what? I don't want to fucking play in this organization, and let everybody else off the line. Like, let the fuck go, man, and find yourself somewhere else. Cool. Like, I wish you nothing but the best, but stop being fucking a 15-year-old about it and sending out this fucking random ass, like, who knows what's going to happen type things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I agree with you, Bobby. I think for Deshaun to come here, I think there's already going to have to be a deal in place for Allen Robinson. I think that's going to be a big factor in Deshaun Watson choosing to come to Chicago to play here.
Or a number one.
I wanted to touch on. I saw 4,000 Clovers. One of his comments. If the tackle position is so important, do you really want someone there who's just not that bad, that you could easily argue isn't that good either? What are you going to do at this point?
Bring in a rookie and hope for the best. Is that what you're going to do?
We've already got a guy in place that the numbers say didn't have that bad of a season. Could there be improvement? Absolutely. And these guys look to improve every year. There's no question about that. But what are we going to do in order to get Watson? If we're giving up our first round picks, how are we addressing the O-line? Well, we're already tight on the cap financially. We're already pushing contracts years out. How are we going to address everything? You've already got a piece in play. It's probably not the piece that you want. It's probably not the piece that could be the best piece, but there's a piece there. Unfortunately, I just don't see them other than drafting a tackle. That's the only way we're going to improve.
Like, if the reason that people want Leno gone is because of his contract and they don't agree with his like, you know, his durability or his play, I guess, then cool. If you don't like his contract and you don't like him and you think that he's whatever and you want him gone, all right, fine. Because of the contract, though, it's not going to be because of this dude's availability and where he's at. Like, I don't know how many all-pro left tackles are there in the league. You know,
I got how often, I see what you're saying, man.
How often does that like rotate in and out? You know what I mean? What, 2 years ago this dude was in a fucking Pro Bowl, or 2 years ago, 2018, I think.
Yeah,
like this dude was in the fucking Pro Bowl for being a fucking stud, and then he got the contract and got this and that, and now we're here, and the dude jumps sides or does this, does that. Did he miss a fucking block that made your quarterback get fucking killed? You know what I mean? Did you lose your all-star fucking dude because this guy can't hold up his end? I think he's above average. I think I'm okay with him staying. And I think this dude gets more hate than he actually should. Like, look down the line. Look at some of these other guys. Look at fucking everybody hates on Leno for knocking blocks. Well, it's fucking hate on Mac for not sacks. Hate on Quinn for not getting sacks. How is Quinn a better fucking piece or a less hated piece in Chicago than fucking Leno is? And that's just, I don't know. It's just where I'm at. I think he's fine, dude. And I think the dude gets way too much fucking hate. The hate on Leno is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I wish I had that soundbite.
Yeah, I don't have it.
So we talked about this in our group chat. If we miss on Watson, who do y'all want us to go after? Because I've got a guy in mind, and I've spoke to y'all about it. He happens to have a beautiful beard, almost as good as mine. And his name is Ryan.
Say my man was Magic.
Yes,
Magic.
Mr. Fitzmagic. That is my guy. If we miss on Watson, and hopefully Mac Jones falls to us this 20. Do you guys? What's your all's contingency plan? I know I'm kind of going off the script here. I don't know if we had this in the script, but this is. I feel like this is a good segue to try to get us away from Watson, because we could talk all day about Watson. You know,
I honestly think that with Watson, right? Stafford, we know Stafford's probably going to LA. I think the handshake is there, or the air high five is there. That's going to the Rams. And so Goff is out, right? So you got Stafford, you got Watson, you got Goff. I highly doubt Goff sits there and does it. You got Dak available. You got Fitzmagic available. You got a lot of guys that are, I would say, above Fitz in the tier section of availability that you can actually get. So I think for him and for some of these other guys, it's kind of a bad year for them to be available, because look at all these fucking headliners that are out there. You know, and like guys who can change your organization. So I think for Fitz, I'm down. Like I'm bring him in. I think he's a better bring in than Mark Sanchez, than fucking Glennon. You know what I mean? Than these dudes that we've had. But bring him in as competition, man. Don't bring him in as like we're gonna bring in Fitzmagic and he's gonna teach fucking Trey Lance, or he's gonna teach Mac like what we want to do, because we fail at that. We don't even do that. You know what I mean? And it's not a thing that helps our fucking quarterback. Like, bring him in to win games. And if he can't do it, then put him on the bench. Bring him in to compete.
That's a good point you bring up, Bobby, is we talk about a backup plan and bringing a quarterback in here and drafting a young guy to learn under him, but look at what has happened over the last few years in Chicago. They picked Mitch Trubisky second overall.
Yeah.
They were supposed to develop him, and they didn't develop him. So here we are now, 5 years later, and we're in the same predicament, but yet the same fucking coach is here who was supposed to develop him and didn't. So to me, that is the hang-up, is the offense. The offense sucks.
Let me throw a fucking curveball. Let me ask the chat too, and you guys here. What if let's play what ifs right now? What if we get Watson and Matt Nagy's offense fucking unstoppable? Just comes out and is like ridiculously fucking Chiefs style offense when we get Watson. And like, you know what I mean? Just burns the fucking scoreboard up and goes nuts. Then what? Then what happens? And I know it's whatever, but maybe this whole Mitch thing, why bring in somebody to teach him? Like, fuck you. Bring in more quarterbacks. Bring in more quarterbacks and you teach them. Don't bring in some veteran to teach your rookie. Fuck off. How about you bring in a guy who can play and then you teach what's supposed to happen? But, I mean, does everybody give Nagy a pass, and does Nagy become a fucking offensive guru again if Watson comes in and destroys this offense and lights up the board?
No, I think people will say, well, it's easy to look like an offensive guru and you have a franchise quarterback in place.
Yeah.
In Kansas City, he had Mahomes, and then now if he has Watson, all of a sudden it blows up.
Look, a key variable here, though, is that whoever we end up getting, like Pace and Nagy have 1 or 2 seasons to make it work. Like they got to pick somebody that can be effective immediately. And I don't know. There might be too much risk with Fitzpatrick for them to say, hey, our careers, our longevity here in Chicago, we're gonna put all the chips in on Fitz. I don't see it happening. That's what gives me a lot of hope that this Watson thing can happen. They can sell.
Dukes needs to change his name to fucking Debbie Downer. This motherfucker, he hates everything. God,
no,
damn,
I agree with Tooch though. The problem is Nagy, guys. I mean, to me, it's his scheme. If you follow, I can't remember. It's B Shooks on Twitter. He is putting out great tweets and great breakdowns about the offense and the scheme that Nagy runs on a consistent basis. Nagy runs more hitch routes than anybody in the NFL. In the fucking league. 80%.
I mean, I've voiced my concern about Nagy's play calling on here all season long, and I feel like it changed a lot when Bill Lazor took over because he actually stacked plays that made sense. He'd run a bunch of different plays out of the same formation to confuse defenses and disguise what he's doing. But man, I mean, Tooch, he's like, Nagy sucks. We're not trading for Watson. We can't get rid of our future. We got to fix the O-line. I'm like, come on, Tooch. I love you, dog, but come on, man. Dude, where's the optimism? It's the off season. You're supposed to be optimistic about this shit.
Dude, Tooch moved to fucking Iowa and they became fucking potatoes.
He's like,
not
all I see is corn. I'm going to shoot myself.
But so how, like, I'm 100%, and whatever. All of you can tell me that I'm wrong, and everybody in the chat can tell me that I'm fucking stupid. I think the Bears get Watson, 100%. I'm fucking sold that they're gonna do everything they can to bring in Deshaun Watson. I think you're like the franchise, Nagy, Pace, everything is on the line here for Ted, for everybody, man. Ted almost was fucking fired this season, pretty sure, and I think everything's on the line.
I'm buying a jersey that day. I'll just say that.
I think everything's on the line, man, and they fucking throw it in. But how much? So, like I know I said before, like the coach has to teach him, right? But how much better does Watson make Nagy as a coach? How much better does a guy who can relay what he sees on the field than a guy who can relay what's happening makes a coach better? It makes your decisions better. It makes your decisiveness. It helps. I'm just saying, like a dude who can come back and be like, "Hey, coach, they're doing this, they're doing that, whatever," makes like pays off for a coach. I don't know if Mitch can do that. And I know like we see this, like I think Mitch is a good kid. I think he can be a fucking Bible backup somewhere. I don't think he's a starter, man. I don't think that he's a franchise. He could probably have a killer career, probably go down the fucking line as a backup and just kill it, right? But I don't think that he can actually like see the field the way that he's supposed to see the fucking field.
Bob, you made a great point last night that this may not be who has the best deal, but it may be where does Deshaun want to go. He holds the cards. He's got all the leverage right now. So what it comes down to is it's what team can either make the best pitch or create the best surrounding for him to be a centerpiece. So if you're making the pitch, Bobby, you're the pitch man, and you are the pitch man. So you're the pitch man making a case for Watson to come to Chicago. What does that look like to you?
Well, hang on. Before anybody answers that, I've already got a pitch man in place. Right? I got a pitch man.
He had the leg up. He was behind it.
Eldo's got some sound on it right now. So if you want to play that, Eldo.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm not hearing any sound, Eldo.
I don't either.
Okay, good. I thought this was my
busted sarcastic.
I thought this was my busted ass computer. I was like, wait, I can't hear anything.
We should have let Bobby think it was his computer the entire time and just kept shaking my head and nodding. Like, yeah.
Hell yeah, Mike.
Hey, who was the one who said that? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have a conversation with D-Watt later on today. We just spoke about it a few minutes ago. And we're gonna talk about it, just in totality. But look, man, if I'm his agent, man, I'm pushing to get with the best team. I'm looking to get with the San Francisco 49ers or the Chicago Bears. Need some defense, need some weapons. Those teams are short of a quarterback, and the deal can be made. The deal can be made with D-Watt.
So there you go. I mean, if Mike Vick is already pitching the Chicago Bears to Deshaun, Bobby, it should be easy for you now to come in and finish that pitch off.
Well, I mean, like we said,
I'm not Chapman. Just come in and
who are we pitching to? Are you pitching to Watson or are you pitching to the Houston Texans? Because
Watson.
You have to find the middle. You have to find the middle ground here and make them both agree. Because Watson has the no trade clause, so he has to sign off on it, right? Houston isn't gonna take fucking lollipops for the dude. Like you still have to sell. Everybody has to agree on what the fuck's gonna happen. So
unless Watson says, "I'm not showing up for y'all regardless."
One place, the leverage shifts. Like you're right. Like it's not like we get him for nothing. We still have to give him something. But how do you make a case so airtight, so strong that Watson says, Chicago head and shoulders above Miami and New York because of X? What's that? What is the X?
Oh, so to Watson, I would just be, you got the market. So the same way when the Bulls try to make a pitch to LeBron James, right? LeBron James would have been sitting in whose shadow forever?
Michael Jordan's.
He'd have been sitting in George's shadow. LeBron James would never be, to me, and if you're in the chat and you're a fucking LeBron James fan, then cool. But he will never outshine Michael Jordan. He just can't fucking do it. Like people say, great, whatever. So he would never, in Chicago, he would never be able to be the number one best ever fucking dude, right? Wouldn't have done it. And now look at Watson. Who does he have to compete with? Like, there's fucking statues and trophies and a long legacy of sports figures in Chicago. And there's never been a quarterback that Vince or like, I don't know. You can't say the Sid Luckman. You can't nobody fucking knows about him. People have to be told what he did, and he took a year off and fucking went into the service and killed a bunch of people. And then he came back and fucking did this thing. Cool. Happy for you, dude. I'm in the service too. Great. But I'm just saying, the dude he's not a household name. And you got the punky QB. You got the punky QB who did a dance and fucking did a flip and wore a headband that said fucking fuck off to everybody up above him. Like, that's why people in Chicago liked him. It wasn't because of his play style. It was because of his attitude. And because he was like, you know, he just gave the big fuck you to like hypes, and people are like, fuck yeah.
Smoking Jay gave the big fuck you to everybody, and a lot of Bears fans hated his ass.
And Jay was in the middle. So I think you sell him on that. You sell him on this is Chicago. This is a huge fucking, you know, just marketing ability. You come here, you got, you know, whatever. Like, you have reins, you have full control. I don't think he's really concerned about, like, I would say, like Bears fans are. I think he's concerned about the offense as much as we are. I think we, as fans of this team, are more concerned about the offensive production than maybe players are. Go ahead, Badge. Sorry, dude.
So so now that we have your pitch, I'm gonna spin it this way. I'm gonna pop this back up from Tom, right? So what are we giving up to get him? And then we can move off of the Watson talk, and we'll get into some free agency stuff. So I'm gonna go to KB because I see he's got his hands up. How much we giving up, KB?
I'm starting the conversation with 3 firsts. That's if y'all hate me for it, you can hate me for it. I'm going off of what we just. Oh my God! I'm going off of what we just saw the Rams give up for Stafford. You're getting a quarterback who's not even all the way in his prime. He's 25. He's going to be a franchise changer. You start the conversation with the 3 picks. If you have to throw somebody in, like I said, tough decisions have to be made. You have to get your franchise player at the most key position, and that's quarterback. If you can get Deshaun Watson for 3 firsts and a player, maybe shoot for it, man. You got to.
All right, Bobby.
No, I dude, and I just seen somebody who was that? The Factor said Jalen Johnson and his injured shoulder. I don't think Johnson has enough built up credibility yet to actually be trade bait. I think he was a great piece for all of us to look at, right? And for us to be like, yeah, this kid's great. But I don't think he's actually NFL wise in the market as trade bait or piece that can actually help you grow. Joe down everything. You give up everything. I'm doing so Stafford went for what? 2 firsts, right? 1st and a 2nd.
2 firsts, a 3rd, and golf.
2 firsts and a 3rd. So 3 firsts, I'm all on board with. I'm all on board with 3 firsts if that's what it takes. But I'd be going in there pitching more of 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and I would separate the years. You know what I'm saying? And try to like extend so you get a first next year and 2 years from now, because you can go up to 3 years, right? And then I would do the 2nd kind of mixed in there and try to still make it to where we can at least have a chance to do something in the draft. But by separating it, say I'm giving them 2 seconds, I'm kind of breaking it down to where it doesn't affect me every year. And then I'm not against throwing somebody else on the table, dude. If they want somebody that they feel can help their team and their, you know, whatever, I would just tell them, hey, everybody on my squad's on the table. Who do you want? Like, is there anybody that interests you? And I would see what they come back with, and then kind of make it look like I'm helping them instead of they're helping me by giving me Watson. So I'd let them kind of pick the person, and then I'd make it look like I'm trying to help them get fucking Kyle Fuller instead of them being me to get Deshaun Watson. I'll try to kind of fuck him and flip.
The negotiator. I like it, man. And I think that's what it comes down to. It's like, how many firsts are you willing to part with? And then the peripherals, you can kind of slot people in and out. Like, it's going to come down to, is it 2? Is it 3 firsts? I would do 3 firsts. I wouldn't have like a week ago when I thought, first round picks are so valuable. And then you look back at what our first round picks have turned into, what they've cost us at the end of the day. The team has the first pick. They don't even do anything with them. So 3 picks, get it done.
Yeah. AC, man, what you know, I'll let you go, and then I'll give mine.
I'm with Bobby. I mean, I guess I'll do 3 first rounders if I have to. Thanks for the full screen. But I'd rather do 2 firsts 2 seconds.
There he is.
And when he talked about throwing in Kyle Fuller, to me, that's a very enticing piece because if you watch this Houston Texans team in the secondary, they've tried to fix it through the draft. They drafted my guy, Lonnie Johnson, from here in Lexington. He played at UK. They drafted him way high. He was projected like a 4th or 5th round pick. I think they grabbed him in the early 2nd, so he hasn't really lived up to his draft expectations, but they are really hurting in that secondary. I mean, so you might be able to trade Kyle Fuller in a couple of draft picks for Watson, and that helps them in their secondary, helps us with our quarterback search, and they get some draft picks as well. But who knows? We've seen Ryan Pace do it before. Maybe he can get a draft pick back. I mean, he got one back with Mac.
Yeah. Get him.
For me, I think it's going to take. So I agree with the 3 first-rounders, but I think it's also going to take a little bit more draft capital than just the 3 first-rounders. I think they're going to want, another substantial pick, whether it be a second or third on top of that. And then I think a player as well. Now, to me, I just saw somebody say it. What if they wanted David Montgomery? He's a player I'm not willing to part ways with. And Roquan Smith is a player. Montgomery, I mean, I think he could be.
Real quick, y'all, I got to cut out, man.
All
right, you boys, man. Y'all have a good show, man. Take it easy.
All right, later, KB.
Be safe, KB.
I mean, to me, if you part with Roquan Smith.
Roquan's off the table for me, but I feel like I love Montgomery. Do not get me wrong. Do not misquote me. But running backs are easier to replace than a lot of other positions.
I agree.
Agreed.
I agree they are, but I feel the way he was a different animal the second half of last season. After he missed the game with the concussion, they got the O-line fixed. He turned into something different. And to me,
Thirsty, isn't that insane?
Those are the only 2 players that I would not be comfortable parting with, because you lose Montgomery, Cordero Patterson's a free agent. I mean, Ryan Nall's a free agent. Not that that's really that big of a deal. I mean, Artavius Pierce is here. Tariq Cohen will be back and healthy, but Tariq Cohen is not an every down back in the NFL. Sorry, Tariq. I love you. I love what you do, but he's not. I think I would think if Montgomery left, he would start tearing it up for the Houston Texans because he would probably be their entire offense.
Well, they'd have David Johnson down there, so they'd have a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, he's kind of aging, though.
Yeah. It depends on how he's used.
Yeah, and I don't know. Am I totally against trading Montgomery? I think I'm more for Montgomery leaving than I know I'm more for Montgomery leaving than I am for Roquan leaving. I don't. If they fucking ask me like, hey, we either want this guy or that guy, I'm fucking pushing Montgomery out the fucking door. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think he's great. I fucking like the dude. I fucking ordered a jersey last year, and I think that, like AC said, I think he's replaceable though. I think he's replaceable. I
didn't watch the Senior Bowl in its totality, but I looked over the highlights yesterday. Kellen Mond is a guy we might be able to look at in the late rounds if you're looking for a developmental piece. But there was a running back from North Carolina. I think his name is Carter. Yep. And he showed a lot of versatility in that Senior Bowl yesterday. He was able to run between the tackles, showed a lot of power, and was able to catch the ball out of the backfield as well and make some guys miss. So
I love
Montgomery, but I feel like he's replaceable.
I mean,
there's always a lot.
It might not even come out of this year's draft. Like, to me, the big upside with Watson is you get so many years. There's a long future with him here. So if it takes 2 years, if it's next year's draft and you find that running back, you get somebody to complement Cohen for this next season, so be it. But I look at the long term. Look at the long term opportunity. I kind of I'm thinking back to when we got Cutler, right? Cutler is not Watson. Don't get me wrong. So here's another don't quote me moment for us. But the team that Cutler came to and the team that Cutler like eventually had, like B Marsh wasn't here yet. Like a lot of those surrounding pieces weren't here yet. So like I think what we will have with Watson, if this were to go down and we were to get him, will be completely different from what this team can turn into over the next 3 or 4 seasons. So I wouldn't want to lose Montgomery, but if it meant getting this deal done, no doubt about it. I think it's a replaceable position. Roquan, not so much. I mean, he's our lone first-round pick that we nailed.
Yep.
Can't part ways with him.
Yeah.
He's probably the
I
only
like what Clover's just said too, Mike. Here's a thought. Why don't we just accept the fact that we're rebuilding and not going to be good? I mean,
Is Pace and Nagy are on a Pace and Nagy are in an all win. They've got to win or they're gone.
How could you like Clover's? I fucking love Clover's in the chat, dude. He's always in there and always going, and you can't accept that fact. If you accept the fact that you're rebuilding, then fucking get rid of Quinn, get rid of Hicks, get rid of fucking Mac. Damn, yeah, get rid of Fuller, get rid of like all these
Eddie.
Eddie, get rid of all the veteran presence and then rebuild. But I don't think the team is rebuilding. I think, like Mike Vick said, they're a fucking quarterback away from actually getting far in the playoffs. Look at all the complaints we have. And yeah, I get it. They added a fucking extra team this year, right? They went 7, whatever. Look at all the complaints we have. And this team still made the fucking playoffs. This team was still in there. And we say that this offensive coordinator and this coach is the fucking worst ever, right? He walked the team into the playoffs, or they fucking made it at least, right?
And even on top of that, if we can't re-sign Allen Robinson, you've still got Darnell Mooney, who's gonna be really freaking good. You got Cole Kmet, who plays freaking strong. He needs to hold on to the ball, but he plays strong. You got Montgomery if he doesn't end up in that trade deal. And I honestly trust Ryan Pace after watching him grab Mooney in the 5th round. This wide receiver class is deep as well. That's another thing I noticed in the Senior Bowl is there's a couple of guys from Louisville. I hate Louisville, but they got some pretty good wide receivers coming out. There's a guy from Tennessee. There's some pieces we can grab late in this draft.
Here's something I think we're not talking about though, and obviously that's the defensive side of the ball. Oh, so here we go. From Aldo just popped this up. So
two
the Texans
young defensive starters
2 1s,
at the
2
least.
2s, and 2 young. Wow.
Well, to me though, like Mike said, I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. To me, you have to have Deshaun Watson give up his no trade clause. So to me, it's almost irrelevant what the Texans want. It's what Deshaun wants, because he can either get rid of his no trade clause or he could say, fuck you guys, I'm not showing up. Why would I show up to play for your organization that didn't even talk to Eric Bieniemy, a guy who I wanted, that went and got another GM from? Didn't they grab another GM from the Patriots organization or something like that? And as soon as that happened, he was like, "Well, there's the same shit."
That's when he changed. That's when he changed all of his fucking
headers. So what the Texans want to me is almost irrelevant. I mean, if you've got a quarterback in that situation, if he's either going to I'm playing for somebody else or nobody, what are the Texans going to do? Their hands are tied.
I think the Texans putting out there what they want is just a piece for them to kind of act like they still are pulling the strings here. You know what I mean? Like, sure, they can listen to whatever. And the thing is, Watson does have the no trade clause, and he can fucking block anything, right? But do you think Watson's really gonna say, is Deshaun Watson really gonna say, wait, what are they giving you for me? Or do you think they're gonna say, or do you think he's gonna be, or do you think it's gonna be like, hey, Deshaun, we have a trade lined up with the Jets. You would go to New York and you would keep your contract, and we'll pay you the fucking bonus money now, and that way we're paying you for the next 4 years, but you're going to go to the Jets. Is that okay with you? And he'd turn around and be like, no, I'm not going to New York. And they'd be like, okay, we're going to try to work something else out. And then they come back. Hey, Deshaun, we have a trade lined up with Chicago. You would whatever. They take over this and that, right? Are you willing to go to Chicago? Yeah, I'll go to Chicago. Okay, cool. Here, I don't think it's gonna be like hey, Deshaun, you're gonna go to Chicago and we're gonna get 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. Are you okay with that? He doesn't give a fuck about that. That doesn't fucking matter to him what they get. It just matters to him where he's going and when his fucking guaranteed money's getting paid. Are they going to pay it all now, or are they going to extend it over the next 4 years so he's still getting paid by Houston and Chicago when he's in Chicago? Like, what's the fucking – he doesn't give a fuck what he's getting traded for. You know what I'm saying? So
the only thing that he does care about, though, is if the team he's being traded for has to give up a lot of players that are currently on the active roster, what he's going to – the product that he's going to is now – worth less, right? So I think he wants a scenario, but if the Texans force it, there wouldn't be any destination anymore. But that to me, that's the only reason he would care about the return, is because he doesn't want to go somewhere where their assets have been depleted.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, and I was just getting into the defensive side of the ball. So let's say this trade happens, right? They want 2 pieces of the defense.
2
young pieces, players. Right? So who are those 2 players? I mean, is it
Jalen Johnson?
Who? Jalen Johnson and who?
And Nichols.
Bilal.
Yeah.
And Bilal.
Yeah, I'm whatever. That's where I start, and from there I let him build up to the guys who. Because granted, those guys
I'm not concerned with corner position guys at all, because I would be fine with giving up Jalen Johnson. You've got Kendall Vilder, who I thought stepped in very admirably when Buster Skrine went down and then Jalen Johnson went down. So Fuller, Vildor, Shelley, whatever that combination is, I'm okay with that. I don't want to part ways with Roquan, so I guess I would think Bilal Nichols would probably be next to me too.
Do we still consider Eddie Jackson to be young?
I
mean, he's what, 25, 26?
I'll tell you, I'm fucking scandalous. You know what I do right now? I tell Roquan to show up on an injury report. I throw out something right now that Roquan's got a fucking hurt knee that he's gonna nurse in the offseason, and I leave a fucking.
He's got a bad hammy.
Remember, he's got a pack.
He does have a pack.
Remember, he got hurt. He's got. Okay. So Eddie's 27. He's hurt legitimately. But my point to all this is, you hear people say, you heard Mike Vick said it, go to teams that have good defenses. Well, if the Bears are a Super Bowl caliber defense, I personally didn't see it. Maybe that was Chuck Pagano. We have no idea what we're going to get from Sean Desai, what his defense is going to look like. Obviously he was under Vic Fangio. Now he learned from Chuck Pagano. How is he going to scheme his defense to get this defense back to what it was in 2018? I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that we're going to have to wait to find out, is what is this defense going to be? So if you're Deshaun Watson, you're coming in here, you're buddies with Nagy or whatever, because he worked you out at before the season, but you're looking at that defensive side of the ball. You've got a young defensive coordinator now taking over what was once a Super Bowl caliber defense, but is a little bit older, number one. Number two, what are they going to be? Number three, who just left this defense to go to Houston? And with them departing, I'm Deshaun Watson. I can do great things on the offensive side of the ball, but I still need a defense to make plays. And if you lose, if the Jalen Johnson now, if JJ Watt comes, fuck it. I'm all in.
I mean, I get it, man. But even like sitting back and trying and thinking of this, right? If they want 2 young defensive players, Roquan Smith is definitely the fucking guy that they're going for. 100%, he's the guy that they're going after. Probably, I know how the fucking All Pro and Pro Bowl votes worked out, and whatever. I think it's fucking nonsense. The dude had more stats. If you're
better stats than the guys, yeah.
If you're a stat nerd, you have better stats than everybody. If you fucking watcher and you just like this, like you fucking tell with your eyes, he was better than they were in that area too. I just don't know how he didn't, but he's probably the best sideline to sideline fucking middle linebacker in the league. And whether coverage or filling a fucking hole, they're 100%. They're losing their diamond, dude. They're losing their number one, their main guy. Like when Watson leaves Houston, they're number one. Pick a guy. Yeah, fucking
I don't even
crickets.
know who.
Crickets. Yeah, no.
Kiki Kuti.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody fucking knows, man. And they're gonna want a new fucking diamond. They're gonna want somebody else, and they're gonna want them from the team that they're trading Watson to. They don't want pick. I mean, they want picks. Don't get me wrong, but they also want.
That's what makes Miami the big. That's their big push. Is they've got two they'll give them back.
And a high.
Yeah,
and well, they got Houston's fucking high pick.
They got all kinds of picks. Yeah, they got Pittsburgh's. They've
got Houston's pick, and what a fucking slap in the face to be a GM though and be like, "Yeah, I'll give you Deshaun Watson, give you my pick back." Like, give me my brother's ball back. Like, what the fuck? Man?
Pops is tripping, man. He told me to go over and get my pick back.
Oh, he did he? Is that what he told you? But that's how it would be, dude. That's not how it would go. Fuck. Sorry. I was dying over here for a second. Oh, shit.
We're got a little Manscaped promo for you guys coming up here before we change topics here. The support for our podcast and all the shows on the Barroom Network is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped has just released their new cologne scent to help you feel good and smell good all over and at all times. Who knew smelling this good could feel this good too? Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all of your below-the-waist grooming needs. And guys, don't forget, not only do they have the cologne, but they've got other great products as well. The Lawnmower 3.0 for your below-the-belt trimming needs. Also, there's your ball washer kit. Oh, did I just say ball washer?
The Crop Preserver is a ball deodorant that also helps with chafing, which I use because I work in a factory. So do a lot of walking in a hot factory, and it helps.
So, guys, if you're looking for to refresh your friends below the belt, visit manscaped.com. And I know we're going to do a raffle at some point for the Perfect Package 3.0. So you're definitely going to want to keep your eyes peeled for that. Just when you go to manscaped.com, use the code BARROOM20 at checkout for 20% off.
I think we should do something with the draft for that. Like if someone can predict our first round draft pick, if we keep our first round pick, they get a what's it called? The perfect package.
Yeah. We can do it on draft day. We can basically do it whenever the hell we want, man. But yeah, our friends are at Manscaped, or 20% off and then free shipping and handling. Just get over there or order it up, get it going, and clean your shit up. Fuck, man, it's the off season. It's time to get out there and take care of your fucking hedges.
Trophy husband's got to stay presentable.
Yeah, you're right. Since that's what all of us are.
I mean, I am. I can't speak for y'all, but I'm gonna speak for myself.
On the full screen.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So let's move into this free agent list, guys.
Okay.
At this point. So the free agent list, the current free agents on the Bears roster right now: Allen Robinson, 27 years old; Cordarrelle Patterson, 29; Demetrius Harris, tight end, 30 years old; wide receiver Dwayne Harris is 33; Jermaine Ifedi, tackle, 27; tackle Jason Spriggs, 27; DeAndre Carter, wide receiver, is 27 years old. Rashad Coward at guard is 26. Tight end J.P. Holtz is 28. Guard Alex Barnes is 25. And running back Ryan Nall is 25. So that is your list of current Bears who are upcoming free agents here when the league year starts. Guys, you look at that list, and who are your players on that list that you think the Bears have to bring back?
I started in the trenches. I think, you've got to look at some of the, like a guy like Bars. You got to look at the guys that protect and the guys that attack. To me, that's where it starts. Like a guy that I would love to have back, but I don't know that it makes financial sense, is Patterson. Like, here's a guy that has such a big impact.
He does so much, yeah.
But he's kind of at that point of his career, though, where that's going to start to tail off a little bit. And, depending on how many years he wants to be signed to, it's going to be tough. So for me, I'm looking at the trenches. I also think that isn't like guys like Urban, some of the depth on the defensive line, they're free agents as well. And I was thinking about this, I think in our last show, we started to kind of talk about it a little bit, but those are guys too that we've got to be thinking about. So that's kind of, for me, that's where I'm starting.
Yeah. I think Urban might be restricted. Like, I think the Bears have a chance to hang on to him, I think. Yeah. I look at this list, and right off the bat, number one for me is Allen Robinson. To me, yes, we have Darnell Mooney, and then what behind Darnell Mooney? I mean, is Anthony Miller going to be here? Is Javon Wims going to be here? Riley Ridley, because he doesn't play special teams. We've talked about Riley Ridley ad nauseum. And then behind him, you've got guys like I'm trying to think of the kid from
You got punt returners.
Yeah, you got punt returners. I was thinking along the lines of the practice squad. There's a kid from my backyard that went to Colgate here that's on the Bears roster. For some reason, I can't think of his name. So wide receiver, what?
Is it something Ives?
Yeah, Thomas Ives, that's it. He's a local kid, too. He's actually from Chicago, from Hinsdale, I believe. Ian Bunting and him went to school together. So that, obviously this wide receiver class this year is deep. So there is some potential to obviously fill some of those holes. But the number one receiver.
Is tough to fill. Yeah.
I would love Cordarrelle Patterson back. I think he brings an element to the return game that
he's the best returner in the league.
Yeah, best returner in the league. I feel like they try so hard to break things open for him when he's in the game. And he just hasn't had a lot of opportunities on the offensive side of the ball. Now that I see Brett Urban is on that list, to me, he is a must re-sign, bring back guy for me. I think as a rotational piece on this defensive line, when Eddie Goldman didn't come back, you move Bilal Nichols to that position. Brett Urban at end was there. He was stout. He was solid. Made some great plays throughout the season. He's a guy as well, I think, that needs to come back. And then I hate to say it, but lastly for me, Alex Bars. Those four players for me are the guys that I think have to come back to this roster. If not,
but why,
where are we replacing him?
Why do you hate to say it? What do you mean you hate to say it on Alex Bars? Why would you not want to?
Because he was under a bunch of other names.
Oh.
Like to me,
I shouldn't say I hate. I just say I hate to say that the rest of the guys on this list I really wouldn't want to bring back.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because I was like, wait a minute.
Why? Notre Dame.
I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure why you don't like Alex Bars. I was like, wait, did this dude?
No. Bars needs to be back. I think Bars has a spot on this offensive line somewhere, whether it's tackle, guard, center. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's
and you see a lot of offensive linemen in this list. To me, I know Mike touched on it. That's the top concern for me is you've got Bars, you've got Coward who can go. I mean, he's not a key piece. You got a Fetty who was a starter this year, Spriggs who played well when he was asked to, but obviously got injured. So not only do you bring back Bars, but you have to either hit the free agent market or through the draft. You have to build that depth again, or undrafted free agents. Sometimes you get lucky. And I noticed both of our punt returners are on this. Cordero Pat. I mean, I know it's not a huge like a number one wide receiver thing, but I mean somebody's got to return punts, and I don't want it to be Anthony Miller. Well, yeah, I guess so.
Will be back. I mean, yes, he got injured returning a punt, but he's back to handle the punts. He can also handle kickoffs.
Yeah.
But I just
Cohen worries me back there though, because I feel like he's very fast and he's good, but I feel like he thinks he's faster than he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like he thinks he can make moves happen that aren't happening.
He tries to do the video game style of like,
yeah.
if I'm
we'll
fucking
go this way, then go all the way that way, then come on.
Yeah, or I'll run all the way back to the end zone and I'll still be able to throw a 100-yard pass because there's a glitch in the matrix. And I mean, like, yeah, I agree, man. There's only really 3 people on that list that I keep, and I think it's quite obvious who they are. I mean, you start with Alex Bars. You found a fucking undrafted dude who basically is now starting on your team. Then Allen Robinson, which is a little harder to keep, right? And then Cordell Patterson. Everybody else, you can leave if you want. And I think there's only 2.
What about JP Holtz? I just saw him come across.
I don't fucking care about JP Holtz. I mean, yeah, great, like whatever, but we've had him on the squad for a while, and then we turn around and sign fucking Jimmy Graham, and he's the number 1 fucking producer on this team. Like Jimmy Graham had more fucking touchdowns than our wide receivers did. Jimmy Graham came in here and was that fucking safety blanket. He was that guy to go to. Even when we thought, I think he could have had more touchdowns. I mean, there was times that we were in the red zone that he wasn't even on the field. Jimmy Graham is not on the field in the red zone. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But you're
gonna get me fucking started on Nagy. God damn it.
And I see a lot of people on Twitter and on all this like saying, well, Jimmy Graham's an easy cut. How the fuck is he an easy cut? And I guess I kind of have to look at his contract and I don't know what he's making, but I don't remember it being horrible.
Like 12 million, I think.
I mean, he's definitely a piece that quarterback coming in here will be like, oh, okay, I got Jimmy Graham underneath whenever I want him. Okay, I got an up and coming kid, Cole Kmet, that could be out there doing, like, I don't know, but Allen walks, right? Maybe he does walk. That's still a 3rd or 4th fucking compensatory pick. I don't know, man. There's still.
Do we get a pick for Mitch too? Because he's gonna be gone.
I think it depends how long he signs.
Depends on the money and stuff.
Yeah, I think it all depends on like the. I mean, Mitch. Honestly, like I said earlier, with this whole quarterback fucking frenzy in the offseason, Mitch is nobody's fucking chasing down Mitch Trubisky right now. And that's. I mean, it's just how it goes, dude. There's I can't even remember another time that the NFL had this many quarterbacks, this many big name quarterbacks on the fucking market in offseason.
Right. Yeah, I spoke on that earlier. I don't remember it ever being like this. Like franchise guys on the move.
And it's compounded retirements and the near retirements. Like you get Rivers retiring, and then you got guys like Brady getting at the end of their careers. So like every team can make a case of why they need the future quarterback or why they might.
That's where I thought Stafford was going to go. I thought he was going to Indy, no question. But I guess they didn't want to give up all their draft capital for him.
Oh,
Wentz so you go to Indy.
Although just put in there, Jimmy Graham next year is 6.9 with 100,000 workout bonus. But I think like you keep him, dude. And I know I kind of went off on this, but I'll get back over here. I try to keep Robinson, right? If Robinson's at 25 mil, do I try to keep him like was reported? I don't know. I keep Patterson. If not, if I'm letting Robinson walk, I'm going after a number one somewhere. You have to go after a top guy. Can our guys that we currently have on the roster be those guys? The problem is we don't fucking know. We don't know if Mooney can be a number one. We're not sure. And you need a number one. I think Deshaun Watson showed you last year he needs a number one. 100% he needs a number one. And he didn't have one last year. That team got just fucking murdered, man. There was no threat to anything. So I don't know, dude. I let those dudes walk. And then I keep with who we have, and I hit the free agent market as well.
I got to say this before
that's big news right there.
Jimmy Garoppolo. I was talking with Chachi on Twitter the other night, and Aldo had posted a poll on if trading for Deshaun Watson, and my thought was a no. And my reason for that was, too many picks, so on and so forth. And Chachi came back to me and he's like, dude, he threw for this many yards, this many touchdowns, and he had nobody. Yeah, nobody. But then
I think he had the most passing yards this season, or up close to it.
He's up there.
Yeah, I mean he would immediately come in and already have thrown for more passing yards than in a season than any Bears quarterback. Same with touchdowns. So if it happened, you know what I mean? Like, but this 49ers, I saw this yesterday. Somebody posted, I saw a tweet that said the 49ers are keeping Jimmy Garoppolo. So, seeing this now, this doesn't surprise me. I'm kind of relieved because I'm not a Jimmy Garoppolo fan. To me, if you're going to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, fucking re-sign Mitch. It's the same fucking guy, I think, except Mitch is a little bit more mobile.
More athletic, yeah.
Yeah.
What? So does that knock the 49ers out of the Watson trade talk? Or they still going to try and bring in Watson and have Jimmy G and Watson? That'd be a lot of money in their quarterback room.
I don't know why I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was still under contract. I thought he was just a trade talk.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought he was just a trade talk piece. If they were gonna make a move, then he would be available. But it's not like he's available. You know what I mean? So, I mean, can they bring in somebody else? Sure, but can they just fucking draft somebody else and still have Jimmy on the front trying to? I don't know. I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think that San Fran has the same need that we have in like you need to fucking do this right now, right? I think
with Shanahan's offensive system, dude. I mean, you don't have to have a star quarterback to run it. Look, even his dad did that in Denver. He turned Terrell Davis, who was either a late round pick or an undrafted free agent, into a Hall of Famer at the way he runs the ball. So you really just need a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over. Your defense plays well.
I mean, they were in the Super Bowl a year ago. They were worse.
I was banging the table for a 49ers head coach.
Yeah, worst in the league 2 years ago. They coached the Senior Bowl. Next thing you know, they go worst to first, and the runner-ups in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. They were demoralized with injuries this season.
Oh yeah,
and they lost. Still were kind of
their whole D-line. Yeah.
They were still competitive. So if I'm the 49ers, I don't think they need to make a move at quarterback. If you've already signed Garoppolo when they traded for him to what a $100 and some odd $1 million deal over a number of years, whatever. I don't think you need to make a quarterback move, especially with their style of offense. And they got to the Super Bowl with their defense and their running game. They ran fucking roughshod over everybody.
Yeah.
With Raheem Mostert, who had been on 7 different teams and cut. Couldn't make it.
On ours.
Yeah.
And it was another one that the people were like, "Oh my God, the Bears let him
But
go."
we weren't the only ones that let him go. Like I said, there were 7 teams that let this guy go.
Let him go 3 fucking years ago. Like, get the fuck over it.
Yeah.
Shanahan's like, I can work with you. Come on down.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I don't think San Fran's hurting as bad as we are. Obviously, Detroit will be okay now. But a lot of people are questioning Jared Goff and his, like his style. Is he only good in that McVay offense? And what is the Stafford told Lions he takes a trade anywhere but New England. Didn't want to be Reno. And remember, I said that last week on the show.
Yeah, you did.
When we were talking about Stafford and where would he go, and somebody said New England, I was like, fuck, he doesn't want to go fucking play with Patricia again. He doesn't even want to be in the same building as that dude. And I know he wouldn't be calling anything, but he wants nothing to do with him. But I don't know, dude. I think for us, it's we can get some compensatory picks for fucking A-Rob if he walks out. But we're gonna need a number 1 wide receiver, and we're gonna need a quarterback. And however they come in here, who knows? But those are 2 things that we need more than anything else, I think.
Yeah, I would totally agree. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this offseason pans out. We might as well, move into the Senior Bowl discussion and talk about, some of the players there. I know we touched on it a little bit earlier at the quarterback position. Mac Jones didn't step on the field due to an ankle injury, and they didn't want him to risk anything or whatnot. To me, I wasn't a fan of any quarterback that I saw yesterday. At all, like even a little bit. I know Kellen Mond won the MVP, but he doesn't check a single box for me. Same thing with Jamie
I feel
Newman.
like Kellen Mond
I saw Newman last year for a quarter and a half, and I just, he got hurt, but I just don't see it.
I've never been a fan of Newman either.
Yeah, I see a lot of analysts talking about him and how good he'll make a team, and I don't know. I don't see it. I'm not a fan of Newman. Sam Ellinger is a guy I could see being brought in to be a developmental guy. I think I saw Eldo tweeted out yesterday. The thing with Ellinger is the arm strength. There's passes that should be fairly easy to complete, and he throws them short. I don't know. It was just lackluster for me. I feel like if Mac Jones had played, it would have given a lot of people who hadn't had the chance to see him really just how good he is. And I was chatting with Berlissimo yesterday. We invited him to come on, but he wasn't sure he'd be able to join us. And when we were chatting yesterday, his comment to me was, Bears have to get Mac Jones. Unless they get Sean Watson.
That's who I've been. You guys have heard me on here. That's who I want. And Tooch makes a good point about the Patriots going for him. Maybe we can pull a trade off with the Patriots and move up. And maybe Belichick's got a big enough head to think he can grab another 6th rounder and make something out of them. The guys that we saw play yesterday are not your 1st or 2nd round guys. These are developmental picks that you're going to grab in the 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th round. Jamie Newman, I don't know what a lot of people see in him. I saw he hasn't played much. He's been injured a lot. Sam Ellinger, most of what I see is between the ears on him. He's got a lot of good leadership qualities, but like you said, he struggles with arm strength. Kellen Mond, from what I've seen out of him at Texas A&M, is a lot of versatility. He's able to run the ball and throw the ball decent. I mean, he's not great at anything, but he's good at a lot of or he's decent at a lot of things. Ian Book, I think he's like 43, so he's probably pretty smart. I feel like he's been at Notre Dame forever. And Felipe Franks was I watched him play in Florida, and he was garbage, but he went to Arkansas and put up a pretty decent season this year, and he had a pretty good Senior Bowl. Looking at those numbers there. But like I told you guys, I didn't watch the game live. I went back and watched highlights. But from what I could, that's my instant analysis of what I know about these quarterbacks from not only their Senior Bowl, but what I've seen throughout their college career.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. I think a lot of the guys that played yesterday are later round guys. But I think that's the sense of the Senior Bowl, right? A lot of times this is to try to make them a day one guy. And that's why they're actually playing in it. The guys who are solidified as day one guys are like that. I'm not playing in that. I might get hurt. Right. But the guys who are day two, day three guys are like, hey, if I go play in that, I might be a day one guy. So I think that a lot of them, from a fan perspective, I think a lot of them beef up their like clout, and their fan favorites and their Tanner Gentrys of the fucking for brags, right? And they're like guys who are just love and they want their team to draft him and they don't know why they fucking love him, but they do because he's the underdog, and you know what I mean, like guys like that. And I think it's a good showing. I haven't watched the whole thing. I haven't recorded. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. We kind of went out and got fucking tore up last night. But either way,
same here.
Yeah. Dude, there was fucking live bands, all kinds of shit.
I didn't want to have a show like last weekend, so I.
Dude, I'm getting back on top. I've been drinking mojito since we started. So. So I gotta get back on top. But Mike, over to you, man. What do you think of the Senior Bowl and everybody? Because I'm gonna drink.
Yeah, agreed with the QB stuff, and I think our best bet in the draft to get a quarterback is get lucky and either Trey Lance or Mac Jones falls to us, or we trade up to get one of those two guys. I don't think we're trading up to go any higher to get that next tier, which I'd be perfectly fine with. I'd love to have either of those guys fall to 20. So if we're still sitting there on draft day with that pick, I wouldn't mind either of those guys in Chicago. But I think I agree with you guys with the Senior Bowl. Like it's there for guys to kind of make a name for themselves that hadn't, been able to throughout the season. From the clips I watched, there's one receiver from Louisville. I think his name is Des Fitzpatrick that impressed me. And
at Louisville, their actual best receiver was Tutu Atwell. Des Fitzpatrick flashed a little bit, but Tutu Atwell and he actually fits what Matt Nagy looks for in a wide receiver. He's fast. He's kind of short. Reminds me of a not as fast Tyreek Hill. I mean, obviously, nobody's Tyreek Hill. I don't think.
Right. Too.
But he's quick and able to make people miss in the open space. And I hate to talk good about Louisville players, but it is what it is. He was the only guy.
What round is he expected to go?
I've ran a couple of mock drafts, and he's been around in the 4th, 5th round, later round guy.
It could work, but. Yeah, I mean, as far as the QBs go, like I said, I'd love to see Jones. I mean, I guess the one guy we didn't see him yesterday, but and he gets knocked a lot. AC loves him. Kyle Trask starting to grow on me a little bit.
I like him. I like him in the 2nd round or 3rd.
Yep, same.
If we can grab an offensive tackle in the 1st round, grab Kyle Trask in the 2nd round, and let him develop, get in our system. We'll see how it goes.
I would feel for Mac Jones at this point.
I know
love Mac earlier Jones, in the season, I was like, man, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be that mobile. But having the opportunity to go back and watch, to me, he looks like the real deal. And I always
Mac Jones was a Kentucky. Mac Jones was a Kentucky commit before he flipped to Alabama. So I've been a fan of his for quite some time now. He did have a DUI last year at Alabama, so that might hurt his draft stock if that comes out.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I gotta give credit though to the Senior Bowl, man. I had the opportunity to go last year with Aldo and Danny, and this year, just seeing some of the tweets from Jim Nagy, the president of the Senior Bowl. Guys, they did thousands and thousands of COVID tests, and they had one positive on all the players, all the coaching staffs. Kudos to them for the job, doing that, and kudos to the players and the staffs for, making it a good week. And, even all the personnel that was there from ESPN and NFL Network and so on and so forth. I got to watch some of it. I watched most of the game. I got to see some of the practices during the week. And again, I think they just put on the Senior Bowl. If you've never been, highly recommend it. As just a once in a lifetime kind of a thing. It really is something cool to be up close and personal with the players, and get to hear their thoughts on how the week was, what they learned, what they took away. Unbelievable experience, and I highly recommend it. I know we've talked in the past about getting a big crew of us to go down. I think it would be awesome if all of us could do that at one
Shout
point.
out to Reese's for sponsoring it. That's probably my favorite sneaky snack.
Yeah,
I want us to get too serious on here.
Yeah,
I was just looking. Quick. Go ahead. Sorry,
just a great event. I thought the game, it was actually a pretty decent game. It's interesting to see the players, because the game is played basically on NFL rules, with the exception of it's at the 2-minute. There's a 2-minute warning every quarter and whatnot. And these players now have to adjust to playing this game under those NFL rules. And, there were some penalties called that may not have been called in the college game that they weren't used to. But I thought it was they did an excellent job. I thought Andrew Siciliano and Daniel Jeremiah were great on the broadcast. Another job well done to Jim Nagy and the Senior Bowl committee.
Yeah, definitely pulling it off. Amongst all of this, right, and then getting still going, man. Kudos to all of them. I just don't know if did you see somebody that you desperately have to have on the squad?
I didn't. There isn't.
I mean, not to knock the kids, to knock the kids, right? But I mean, it's a great show, but it wasn't something where I was like, oh, like lights out. Here we go, and you're trying to get after somebody. I don't know. I just think that that there's. I mean, I love the fucking Senior, right? I just think that there has to be a way, and it's kind of like this weekend too with the Pro Bowl or the quote unquote Pro Bowl.
Are they playing Madden today or something?
Yeah, you're not doing shit. There has to be something added. Let me look at this real quick. Alex Sims, Bob, look it up. You literally saved $7 million by cutting Leno. No, you don't. So right now, Leno's cap hit cap is 5.8 or 5.0 or 5.02 for 2021, and his cap hit is 11 million. So you're not saving by cutting him. And then when he reworked his contract, Alex, he's now paid, even though he's not determined to be a team in 2022, they carried money over to 2022. So he's getting paid in 2022 also. So add up all the years, dude, and get back with me. You're not saving $7 million. You're actually paying him a cap. He's got a cap hit of 12 mil, and he's got a dead cap of 7.86. So you're fucking confused. Either way, it's all there. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Back to what you guys are doing.
No, yeah, you're good. So I was thinking that I totally just lost my train of thought. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Before we get off the Super Bowl, there was a tight end at Ole Miss that I liked quite a bit. Again, another day 2, day 3 draft pick. His name was Yeboah, and he looked pretty good against us at Kentucky this year. He's a receiving tight end who can stretch the field decently. We'll see how that translates to the NFL, where everyone's bigger, stronger, and faster. But I liked what I saw out of him, and I think he had a touchdown catch yesterday as well.
That's what I was going to say, is being there last year and having to watch it, and being able to watch it in person was I was focused. I was in yesterday, like I had it on. I was
it's
doing
kind of
other
background noise though.
Yeah, and I didn't focus like I wanted to, unfortunately. And that's the other part is today, 3 Central. Draft on Tap, Senior Bowl edition. So Danny Shimon, Neil Stopchinski, and Eldo gonna bring you full on analysis of the Senior Bowl from yesterday. Far better than what any of us
Yeah.
have provided you based
I don't claim to be a draft expert.
You didn't watch it, Mike?
I saw highlights. I saw parts of it. It's hard to watch. When you watch, like to your point, being there is totally different because you want to watch specific players, and you can't do that in a broadcast the same way, just because of camera angles and whatnot. So I think the Draft on Tap is like your cliff notes of the Senior Bowl. It's better than watching the actual game. I can't wait to listen in.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's tough to keep an eye on O-line too. I guess there were some Notre Dame O-linemen that looked pretty good yesterday. I think Drake Jackson was down there. He came from Kentucky, but he's a center, and we have 2 to 3 centers on our roster, so I don't see him being a Bear.
Center. Well, it's that the show.
Center.
It's that time in the show, fellas. Shout outs. So we'll throw it around the room. We'll start with Mr. Mike Schaefer first. You got any shout outs?
Yeah, I'll go back to Camp One Step. We're still raising money, over $1,000 raised. Partnership with Deep Dish Tees and WSCR 670 The Score here in Chicago. So if you want a gator with the Score logo, go there. Also, drop this week, new lid. It is a high-profile wool South Lot Soldier Field tailgate lifestyle hat. Sweet. My melon is a little too small for hats like this. I look a little goofy, but if you got a bigger head, this is a money hat. It's a really good hat. Get it at deepdishtees.com. Check it out.
Awesome. Over to AC in the place to be. Shout outs for you, bro.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. We had a lot of interaction today talking about what we want to do with Watson and draft picks and Senior Bowl. And I love reading all your all's comments, whether we agree or not. That's part of what makes democracy great, is that we all have our own opinion and we're able to express said opinion. Shout out to Mike Schaefer with the Deep Dish Tees. Hopefully we'll have some ballroom gear on there soon. We're working out the details on that, and I'm really excited for the way our characters turned out. And I sent him over a T-shirt design yesterday that I really liked, and we'll see when that gets knocked out and all done. Shout out to you guys. Let me come on here, my weekly therapy session, like I tell you every week. Shout out to KB. I know he had to leave. I'm sure he had a call. You know, he's out there fighting fires. We're out here. I think he just looks like he's questioning you. Like, what the fuck you say?
Bobby Bombs, over to you, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all you guys, everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys joining us in this uncertain off season, right, where we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, and all of us are just like, for AC's words, we're just throwing shit at a wall and see what sticks. And that's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, I mean, appreciate it joining the banter back and forth and all that. It's all in good fun, man. You just whatever. We can all hate or like different players on the team, and we'll all have our opinion about it. And like AC said, that's what makes it great, man. Shout out to Mr. Aldo Gandia for pulling the strings behind the scenes. And I guess that's really it, man. No real personal specific shout outs. And whatever. We'll send it back to you, Betch.
Yeah, so definitely got to shout out you guys, man. I love doing this off-season fun, and trying to predict how this roster is going to be shaped up come the off-season workouts and training camp. It's freaking awesome. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much. We love interacting with you guys. It makes it so much fun, to kind of go back and forth and hear your guys' thoughts as well. Aldo Gandia, can't thank you enough, man, for giving us this platform week over week. It's such an honor to be part of this network, and I just love everything about being on this show. And I've got a special shout out, so you can see this hat here.
Right? Oh, the Red Dragons.
Shout out to my daughter, Kaylin. She has been accepted at and has made her decision, and she will be joining the Cortland Red Dragons is where she will be going to college. I can't believe I have a high school senior with a couple months left for high school career, and she has done things in the 17 years she's been on this earth that just amaze me. I'm so honored and blessed to be her dad, and I'm just so impressed, and I think she's going to have a very bright future ahead of her. So proud of her, and so proud of her to make such a big decision, and excited for her to go and experience life on a college campus. So huge shout out to my daughter, and congratulations on getting into the school you wanted to.
I'm gonna send her a Khalees shirt and fucking Mother of Dragons. Hell yeah! As a little congratulatory thing. But yeah, definitely, man. I think obviously with Badge and going and his daughter going up to college and everything going on currently with the whole COVID thing, it's obviously hopefully we're getting out of the woods on this. I don't know. I think we're all ready for sports to open up again and for the stadiums to be full. If the fucking honestly, if the bars can be full on a Friday night, just fill the fucking stadium, man. If you don't want to go, don't go. It's okay. I get it. There's people who have genuine concerns, people who are in remission, or people who are doing this and that, right? That probably shouldn't go. But for me, I can't be a hypocrite and say oh, they need to stay closed because of COVID, but I'm out in a fucking bar last night, a band, and there's probably 60 fucking people in there. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little different the way it works. But I think we're all ready for this season to kind of open up and or next season to open up and the floodgate open, and we'll see. Look at the Badger.
Yeah,
fucking Badge profile.
That's young Badge. Holy shit.
Yeah, but we're just gonna sign out of this thing. We good?
Yeah.
Good around the room. All right, hey everybody in the chat, we appreciate you guys joining us, and we're gonna get out of here and leave you guys with a big old bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.